Hi, I'm Dr. Kurt Woeller for the Toxicity Mastery Course. The title of this short video is the TOX Detect Profile and Perchlorate Exposure. One of the labs we get into in great detail in the Toxicity Mastery Course is the TOX Detect Profile. This is a lab that comes from Mosaic Diagnostics Laboratory. It's important to understand that environmental toxins can have many different types of symptoms presentations, as well as be associated with different types of health conditions and diseases. And what the TOX Detect Profile does is it analyzes the exposure to different types of chemical compounds, from pesticides, phthalates, bisphenol, as well as volatile organic compounds like vinyl chloride, styrene, benzene, and other types of chemicals, perchlorate, acrylamide, triphenyl phosphate. And each of these chemicals has their own unique chemical toxicity influence, and then combined together, they can even have more adverse effects. And so the lab itself is laid out initially with a summary of elevated results as a quick glance of high values, and then more detailed information based on these elevated levels in the interpretive sections that give more detailed information about common sources of exposure and associated health conditions. And if we take an example is perchlorate. Now, perchlorate is a common chemical that we can be exposed to, and its main influence is on the thyroid. So it actually inhibits the thyroid's ability to uptake iodine to make thyroid hormone. And there's examples of widespread and large amounts of perchlorate exposure around the world. For example, in India every year they have something called the Diwali festival, where they shoot off tons of fireworks and other explosives during this festival. The problem is that fireworks is a source of perchlorate. It's also found in road flares, rocket fuel, and other explosives. Now, it's considered an environmental contaminant because of its widespread use. It's often found in many municipal water supplies. It can also enter the food supply because of contaminated water that could be used for irrigation, personal drinking, or through food processing. Milk is a source of perchlorate. So the content in milk is related to the presence of perchlorate that's in the animal feed. And again, it inhibits the thyroid's uptake of iodine, and that can be problematic in women who are pregnant, particularly for their developing child. But young children can also be compromised by exposure to perchlorate because it affects their thyroid too and can affect their development over time. And so if you just remember that perchlorate's effect is to inhibit the thyroid's ability to uptake iodine, which compromises thyroid function. So the perchlorate is just one chemical compound that is found often elevated on the TOX Detect profile. And like every chemical, we can't just assume what the exposures are. We need to test in order to really find out what people are being exposed to. So my name is Dr. Kurt Woeller. I have been in clinical practice now for many decades, as well as doing clinical education for Mosaic Diagnostics and formerly Great Plains Laboratory now for many years. I'm the founder and clinical education director for Integrative Medicine Academy, as well as a founder and education director for Autism Recovery System. I have a podcast called the Functional Medicine Doc Talk podcast. And then in my own clinical practice, I work with individuals on the autism spectrum, people who have chronic illnesses, as well as other environmental induced health conditions. So I'm one of the main content developers and lecturers for courses through Integrative Medicine Academy. And along with my partner, Dr. Tracy Trancatella, who's a naturopathic physician, as part of the Toxicity Mastery course, she does a very in-depth lecture on different types of detoxification strategies for individuals with toxin problems. So for more information about the Toxicity Mastery course, you can go to toxicitymasterycourse.com. If you have any questions about the course, you can email us at toxicitymasterycourse@gmail.com. Again, I'm Dr. Kurt Woeller for the Toxicity Mastery course. Thank you.